Hi, a very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss a particular topic that is a previous question which was asked on 5th of February 2022. Uh, Individual greed and selfishness have been the basis of the modern society. This is the first sentence of the statement part of the question. Second sentence, some people think that we must return to the older and more traditional of respect for the family and the local community in order to create a better world to live in. So having said the previous sentence as the situation, there is a suggestion by a group of people so that we have to return to the older way of life, the traditional way of life, which in which we have a lot of respect for the family and the local community. So let us analyze the situation and whether you agree or disagree. State your opinion whether you agree or disagree to this particular statement. So the situation is like that. So today we are living in a world of greed and selfishness. So it is better for us to, in order to lead a happy life, it is better to go back and live a traditional way of life. Do you agree or disagree? So let's go with the introduction here. It is suggested that in order to achieve, in order to live a better life, the modern society has to abandon its greed and selfishness and adopt the traditional way of life. So this is what the core of the two sentences which were given just before the question sentence, the question sentence, to what extent do you agree? Just before that, we find two sentences. And what is the core of these two sentences? We have understood the core and we have understood the essence of this particular sentences, and we have marked it together in the first sentence. Okay, so it is in a different way, it's in a formal way. So we have written, we have presented the topic for which the question is related to this topic. It's presented in the first sentence, and my thesis, my own personal view, is stated in the second sentence. I firmly believe I firmly believe that such a life is the need of the current generation, but this return has a lot of impracticalities in the existing scenario. So we have my personal view is that this is what we need actually in the current generation, but but this return has a lot of impractical, there are a lot of hurdles before us in the existing scenario to reach this particular goal. It's not so possible easily. So this is what we have written. We have said that there are a lot of hurdles there. Let's go with the first hurdle. The first hurdle, so we have connected that. So there are a lot of impracticality. Number one, the first hurdle is reaching, it's the lack of time people have in the modern world. So we do have a lot of time constraints these days, and we are busy with our own activities, and we don't find enough time to talk or communicate with a person, not in a virtual situation, in the real life situation. You may communicate with a person on mobile phones, on smartphones. You may communicate with a lot of people on these technological devices, but you may not communicate uh, to your neighbors or to the members of your society, or even to your family members properly in person. So personal relationship, the personal communications are missing just because of the lack of time. Now the two examples are given. First is a student, because he has a lot to study, because he has a broader syllabi than in the past. The adult members will be working. Most of the adult members will be working, and they won't be able to find some time, quality time to spend with their family, especially in the weekdays. They won't be finding any time there. And this results in ineffective communication. And this is the first hurdle. When we go with the second hurdle, the second obstacle, which I find is the changing attitude towards life. Now, it's the changing attitudes towards life. So, how is it? To be precise, as technology advanced, we have a advanced technology. People started living a life in accordance with. They adjusted to the technology at present, and this is entirely different from the traditional way of life. This is not so similar to the traditional way of life. This is very much different. In the past, they gave respect and dignity to the family and the society, but now the technologically advanced world, it is not possible. And it is utterly difficult for them to sacrifice these things. They don't want to sacrifice the convenience of smartphones they have. They don't want to sacrifice their enjoyment, entertainment. See, for example, night parties and all. You have late night parties every day. You have these types of lifestyle. We do have a lot of enjoyments and entertainments these days. We spend a considerable proportion of time in front of the computer and smartphones. It's utterly difficult for a person who is living at present to sacrifice these things just to go back to the traditional way of life. If I cut down the time in front of the computer, TV, and these types of devices, I'll be finding enough time to communicate with people, and I will be able to socialize with them. I can make some good relations with them. I can have a good respect with them. So all these things will not be possible in a technologically advanced world. This is what we have said. This is what we have to find as the second hurdle. Now, we have seen two main things here. Some blocks are there before us. Now, I had to admit that the traditional way of life, such as respect, love, care, and generosity, are very much needed in the modern society. These are the qualities which are essential in the modern society. The modern society in which the people die for money and other personal favor. We have to see the situation of the modern society. People die for money. They die for money. They die for personal favors. So they need to live in a traditional life. This is the need, but this is not possible. This is possible only in some isolated societies or remote villages. It's not possible in a globalized society like us. To conclude, though there are numerous benefits when a person adopts the traditional way of life, it is clear that in the present situation, it is hardly possible. It's not possible at all. So that is the end of the explanation of the previous question. Thank you.